It's race season. It's also boating season. National Safe Boating Week is now underway. Many people will hit the water for the upcoming Memorial Day weekend. Kevin Osgood with the Coast Guard Auxiliary in Sturgeon Bay joins us now live with some safety reminders. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, Emily.
Why don't you tell us where you're located right now this morning in Sturgeon Bay?
We are on the Bay of Sturgeon Bay at the Harbor Club Marina, and there's just about every slip here is full. Boating season is absolutely underway. There's a few more empty slips. In Door County alone, 4,000 boat slips. In northeast Wisconsin, the DNR says there's more than 70,000 registered boats. So there's a lot of people that will be getting out on the water this holiday weekend with the nice weather. Absolutely.
Why have Safe Boating Week?
Safe Boating Week is designed to get everyone's attention. Think of this. We just talked about how many boats are on the water here in northeast Wisconsin, more than 70,000 registered boats. Imagine I-41 at rush hour and only 20% of the drivers have had any training in how to drive. That's how it is on the water. 80% of boaters on the water today have not taken a boating safety class. So they really don't know all of the rules as well as they should. And obviously not everyone is wearing a life jacket, which is the one thing that can save everyone's life out on the water, just about everyone's life. Last year, there were 28 fatalities in Wisconsin on the water. So 28 people ended up in the water because of a boating accident. And of those 28 people, that passed away, only one was wearing a life jacket. So you could see just how wearing a life jacket could make a huge difference on what happens.
Wearing a life jacket, one of those tips. Talk about some other ones that people should really focus on, the safety tips during this boating season.
Well, it's taking a boating safety class. Even if you go online to the DNR site, they have an online class that will refresh the basics. Now, I know that if you were born after January 1st, 1989, or before that, you don't have to take the test, and after you do. If you haven't taken that class, at least take that before you get behind the helm and get out on the water. It may give you one or two tips that may save your life in a situation, because when things go bad out on the water, they go bad quickly, and there's not a lot of places to pull over. I mean, you have to deal with things really on the fly. Your engine cutoff switch, if your boat is equipped with one, you need to wear it, because one of the horrible things that can happen is if you get thrown from the boat and you're not wearing that switch, and the boat can run circles around you and most likely hit you, and if it does, you're going to be severely, if not fatally, hurt. So those quick things to have, lots of life jacket rules and things you have to have on the boat, a number of life jackets for everyone on board. Youngsters need to be wearing them, whether if they're 12 years old and under, they need to be wearing it. Adults should be wearing it, but they at least have to have life jackets on board for everyone. And they can't be stored in a locked compartment. That does you no good. They need to be readily accessible. So it needs to be something you can grab and put on when you get in trouble.
Some good information to know. Kevin Osgood, thank you so much for joining us this morning live from Sturgeon Bay. We'll check back in with you in our 8 o'clock hour. We'll talk soon. Now, National Safe Boating Week, Memorial Day weekend, is the unofficial start to the recreational boating season. And this morning, officials are sharing ways to keep you and your family safe while out on the water. Kevin Osgood with the Coast Guard Auxiliary in Sturgeon Bay is joining us now live with more. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, Emily. Great to be with you. Thanks.
Thanks for your time this morning. Why don't you tell us where you're located and who makes up the Coast Guard Auxiliary in Sturgeon Bay?
Sure. We're at Harbor Club Marina, right by the Michigan Street Bridge here in the city of Sturgeon Bay. There are more than 4,000 boat slips in Door County, and there's a lot of them right here in Sturgeon Bay, and they're just about full, so you know the season's going to start. The Coast Guard Auxiliary is an all-volunteer Coast Guard force augmentation, a volunteer force that can help augment, and our main job with the Coast Guard is prevention. So we work by teaching boating safety classes, doing some complimentary voluntary vessel safety exams with people, and preaching about safety on the water. I myself was a reporter for a long time, so I've specialized in public affairs with the Coast Guard, and I help with that. So anyone can join and be a part of the team, and you can do anything the Coast Guard does with the exception of law enforcement and military deployment. As long as you're willing to put in the time and training, you can do it.
And why have a week like this, National Safe Boating Week?
Well, we need to draw attention, make boaters stop and think before everybody gets out and starts having a good time. Myself personally, I'm a kayaker, love paddling, and there's a lot of people that get into boating through the inexpensiveness of kayaking. You can go to a big box store and get a boat and be on the water in a half an hour. But are you being safe? And we just lost a couple people up in Escanaba that were out paddling in kayaks, were not wearing their life jackets, had them tucked under the bungees on the deck, and when they lost control of their boats and went in the water, they weren't able to recover. So being aware of what you need to have, and dressing for the temperature of the water, not the temperature of the air. If you're a kayaker, if you're kayaking, wear that PFD. It's the only way it's going to save your life. If it's tucked under the bungees, you might get separated from your boat, and it won't save your life that way. And another requirement a lot of paddlers don't know is you have to have a sound-producing device on that life jacket. So you need to have a whistle, at least a whistle attached to that. That and maybe a portable VHF radio so you can call for help. But one thing, whether you're a power boater or a kayaker, have a flow plan. And it's not complicated. It's tell somebody who cares about you where you're going, how long you're going to be out, when you're going to be back, and what boat ramp you're using. That way, if it's past the time you were going to be back, they can call someone and get some help out there looking for you in the right place.
Kevin, a lot of good information for people out there on the water. What about your role this upcoming Memorial Day weekend? What is that going to look like for you?
We have a lot of vessel safety blitzes happening from Oshkosh all the way up to northern Door County. So if you're in a marina, or you can go to our Facebook pages or go to cgox.org, cgox.org, and click on I Want a Vessel Safety Check and fill out the information, and that will automatically notify an auxiliary vessel inspector who's close to you, and we can come to you and do a safety inspection of your boat to make sure you have what you need on the water for the boating season. That's really the most important thing right now, is getting all that equipment checked and getting all your questions answered before you head out there.
Kevin Osgood, thank you so much for joining us this morning live from Sturgeon Bay. We appreciate it. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.